Hey, what's up guys? My name is John and I'm an emergency medicine physician assistant. And in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys 4 new grad physician assistant salaries, and we're gonna be breaking down what's good and what's bad about each of these offers. Today we have 1 emergency medicine salary, 1 plastic surgery salary, and 2 family medicine physician assistant salaries. I'll be backing up the facts and data with the 2020 AAPA salary report. This has now become a regular series on my channel, so check the video description down below for links to all of my other salary review breakdown videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that way you don't miss any future salary videos. Lastly guys, if you could please just take a millisecond and hit that like button down below. Really helps the channel out so much, really helps us get seen by more people on YouTube. All right, let's get started. Offer number 1. I'm so excited to share that I've finally been offered a full-time emergency medicine position. Here's what they included with the offer. I'm salaried for $102,000 a year, including days, evenings, nights, weekends, holidays, and I'm allowed to request 8 days off per month. I'll be working 36 clinical hours per week with 4 administrative hours per week, and I'm not sure what this means. $2,000 towards continuing medical education every year, full-time benefits eligible, 100 hours of supervised onboarding, and it's possible for me to sit in on weekly resident conferences, journal clubs, and procedural skill sessions. So this person after the offer asked 8 additional questions, which I will talk about. First, let's talk about the offer itself. 36 hours in emergency medicine a week is pretty standard. That usually entails you working 3 12-hour shifts a week, which is nice because that means you get 4 days off in a week, but you really need it for emergency medicine. You really need the extra rest. $2,000 a year for continuing medical education is great. I think that's pretty much above average at this point. The 100 hours of supervised onboarding is really good because at least that way you have somebody right by your side to help you along the way for the first couple of shifts, and you get to see kind of how to manage the most common emergency medicine encounters. So my thoughts on the $102,000 salary is that it is actually quite fair for emergency medicine, especially as a new grad PA. The 50th percentile for emergency medicine with 0 to 1 years of experience is just over $101,000. And the salary figures start getting bumped up significantly once you have more and more years of experience under your belt. Emergency medicine is definitely one of those great specialties to get into. And then if there's any overtime bonuses or holiday pay bonuses and all those other things, you know, you could really start racking up some money. So now I'm gonna answer some of their other questions. I recently completed a 13-month emergency medicine fellowship. Would this be eligible for any additional bonus? So for this emergency medicine fellowship, you did additional training before you started your first job, and that should merit maybe a $5,000 or $10,000 increase in your initial salary. Would completing the CAQ emergency medicine exam make me eligible for any additional bonus? So for those of you who don't know, the CAQ emergency medicine exam is something offered by the NCCPA. It's a specialty exam. They have it for a bunch of different specialties. And what it does is it really tests your knowledge and skills in emergency medicine. These specialty exams aren't mandatory and employers usually don't require that you have them completed. I personally haven't heard of people getting significant pay bumps because they did this one specific exam. However, according to the NCCPA website, over 50% of test takers received or anticipated receiving a pay increase, and 33% received a cash bonus. So this specialty exam may actually help you get a pay raise. I'm not really sure, because anticipating a bonus doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting a bonus. The next few questions are, is there any annual bonus available? How does overtime pay work? And is there any available student loan repayment options? All of those things could be available for your job. You would have to ask your job specifically about how they work. My job, for instance, has an annual bonus of $10,000 a year for the PAs and $30,000 a year for the physicians, and they delineate exactly how you can earn that yearly bonus to the T. We also get student loan repayment included. Their next question is, what do administrative hours consist of? In my mind, administrative hours are hours spent either charting, meetings with the department, extra training sessions, but it could also just mean doing administrative stuff such as calling patients after they've left the ER to make sure that they're following up with people, to tell them about any lab or x-ray variances and things like that. How does vacation work? Is there a rotational system for holidays? Yes, usually in most jobs, they will divvy up the major holidays so that way somebody's not stuck working all of the major holidays. So as you guys can see from this offer, this poor individual does not get any paid time off. The thing about emergency medicine is some jobs will have a huge vacation package, and then other jobs like this guy's job will not necessarily specify any paid time off. And the whole idea is that since you're only working a handful of shifts every month, you can kind of rearrange your schedule with a few of your coworkers to get a significant chunk of time off while the department is still being covered for all of their staffing needs. And his last question is, what is the malpractice insurance coverage? Any tail coverage? I read about this all the time, not really 100% sure what it is, only that it's important. So tail coverage is definitely very important. With medical malpractice insurance, the claims and the lawsuits can happen months or possibly even years after the initial patient encounter. So you have this huge amount of time after you've seen somebody that they can decide there was negligence or what have you, and there was a bad outcome and they want to sue. So now if you are at the same employer when this occurs, it's not an issue. You will be covered by your employer's malpractice insurance. The issue is if you leave your job and you get sued from a patient at your prior job, now your new job's malpractice is going to say, whoa, hold on. Why am I going to cover you for something you did when I wasn't insuring you? The reason you have the tail coverage, the tail means it's covering you after you leave your employment. Some employers will try not to give you tail is because obviously it's more expensive than just providing you malpractice insurance. So that's a pretty standard emergency medicine offer. Let's go on to offer number 2. This new grad will be working at a federal health center with 3 days in family medicine and 2 days at an OBGYN clinic. They'll be a W-2 employee paid $124,000 a year, 2 weeks off for continuing medical education. Their paid time off is capped at 208 hours per year. There's no call and all major holidays are paid for. However, they also have to work one Saturday a month. Full benefits, 401k, malpractice insurance with tail coverage, and DEA licensing reimbursements, student loan forgiveness through the federal government, and at-will employment. So they did mention some red flags. You get worked like a dog. It's about the numbers. EMR system really sucks from the other providers at work, but with these COVID times, I'm now on the fence and considering to take the offer. So what are my thoughts on the job? Obviously, $124,000 is a great salary for a new grad PA. I'm assuming you're in a higher cost of living area. The PTO cap is fine. Not being on call is great, especially for family medicine. Working one Saturday a month is not the end of the world for most people. A few other things I want to touch upon. Your job reimbursing your DEA and licensing fees is huge. I personally think all of your jobs should be reimbursing you for expenses directly related to working as a physician assistant. The DEA just recently increased the price of their application to $888. Between the DEA and the licensing fees, you're looking at least $1,000 that you'll be saving. And then at the end of your offer, you said at-will employment in quotes, so I guess I just want to touch upon that. An employer can terminate an employee at any time for any reason except an illegal one, or for no reason without incurring legal liability. Likewise, an employee is free to leave a job at any time for any or no reason with no adverse legal consequences. At-will also means the employer can change the terms of an employment relation without notice. There's some good to it, right? Where you can leave your job at any moment, on a drop of a hat. So while you do have some freedoms afforded to you, it sounds like there's also the negatives of almost being at the will of the employer. The cons would be the at-will employment and the fact that your coworkers, the people that you've literally interviewed, said that you get worked like a dog. The job can be very stressful. And I think that's a huge negative because of the burnout. This is your first job, you're a new grad, you're gonna be getting $124,000 right out the gate. We are in the midst of a global pandemic. I say take the job if you enjoy the specialty. Offer number 3, plastic surgery in the lovely Southern California. This essentially meets 2 out of 3 of my major criteria of location, specialty, and compensation. The job entails 3 days being first assist in the OR and 2 days being in the clinic. I have after-hour call duties. In the span of 3 weeks of call, the doctor says I'll only get 1 or 2 times to answer questions. Salary is $100,000 with 10K increases annually, maxing at $140,000. Malpractice insurance is included. I'm unsure about tail coverage, 2 weeks of paid time off, 401k contributions after 1 year. I do not know the percentage of the match, and there is no continuing medical education. Now, this individual was very smart and already did their own research on the AAPA salary report. The bottom 10% make $95,000. The 25th percentile makes $105,000. The 50th percentile makes $120,000. My initial thoughts are to negotiate for 3 weeks of paid time off and 401k contributions after 3 months instead of 12 months. As a new grad, I'm super happy to have gotten the offer. I just want to make sure I'm compensated fairly. So first and foremost, to remain positive, I definitely 100% agree that when you find a job that at least meets 2 out of your 3 major criteria, that being location, your specialty, and your salary or compensation, total compensation, that you should maybe roll with the job, at least consider it. And to my understanding, you're not really allowed to negotiate the start date or the vesting amounts for your 401k. And the reason is because 401ks are heavily regulated by the government and by law. The whole plan is already written and followed to the letter by the employer, and it is applied equally to every employee. So they can't make a specific change for you without giving that specific change to everybody else. So for me, I was able to enter my 401k plan at 6 months. Usually anywhere from 0 months to 1 year is acceptable. Personally, I don't like the fact that your on-call period is for such a long amount of time. Apparently, according to some of the comments, it sounds like you're just always on call, which is just always horrible. Not to mention that you don't get any CME money, so that's right there another $1,000, $2,000 that you're not getting. And lastly, and I have nothing against California, guys. It's just you have to consider you're going to be getting paid $100,000 in Southern California, which sounds great for a new grad salary, right? When you consider that the average registered nurse in California is earning $113,000, and when you apply cost of living to that number, it's more like $81,000 worth of money in your pocket. And California is the one state where registered nurses are making $120,000, $130,000, $140,000, $160,000 a year or more. So when you are first assisting in an OR and seeing patients in a clinic and you're getting $100,000 a year with a master's degree, it's not such a great deal when you compare it to what some of our other healthcare professionals are getting with a 4-year BSN. My thoughts are due to the lack of CME, the lower salary, the perpetual being on call, that you should definitely counter them. $110,000, $120,000 to start with. You are in a high cost of living area and you are doing a lot of work for them, and you are definitely earning their practice more than $100,000 a year. Offer number 4 is another family medicine offer. Family practice in an underserved, uninsured rural population. I'll be working 4 days, 40 hours a week. 2 of those days will be in a rural location with a 1.5-hour commute and 11-hour days in total. And then 2 of those days will be at a local office working 10 hours and 8 hours a day, respectively. The salary is $100,000. Benefits include $50,000 of loan repayment, paid time off up to 160 hours a year, 8 paid holidays, 401k, 3% company match with employee match up to 3%, CME up to $2,000, and 5 paid days off to take those CME days. So while this person did not specify a location, I'm assuming if they're working in a rural underserved area, that they're in a more medium or low cost of living area. So $100,000 for family medicine as a new grad PA is completely reasonable. Not to mention there's a $50,000 loan repayment included. Now, I don't believe this will be a $50,000 lump sum right when you start your job. Usually what the employer will do is, okay, we will pay up to $50,000 into your student loans, and we will do $10,000 a year. And then once you hit 5 years of service, I mean, you get the whole amount in the end, but they pay $10,000 a year directly into your loans, which is a big help. So if you include the $50,000 loan repayment, the individual is actually almost getting $110,000 a year. The PTO and holidays looks great. The $2,000 as CME money and 5 days off for taking those CME credits is also very good. The 2 issues would be first of all, one of the locations clearly has a longer commute, an hour-and-a-half commute total. It's a long amount of time to be commuting. The only question or comment I have about this offer is the 401k. I'm not sure if there was a typo or you miswrote something, but you wrote a 401k 3% company match with employee match up to 3%. What I think you were trying to convey is the company is matching 100% of your contributions up to 3% of your salary. So if your salary is $100,000, they'll match up to $3,000 for that year. Guys, if you enjoy videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. really helps us out so much. I love doing these salary review videos for you guys, so don't worry, there will be more in the future. I also plan on doing more financial related videos and videos about wealth and money in general. Check me out on Instagram for pictures and stories on the life of a physician assistant. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about these salaries, what you guys think about my analysis. And guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.